explosive trial of NXIVM'S sex cult leader Keith Raniere.
Brainwashing, sex abuse, and even branding.
It was really the psychological torture of women for decades.
HBO's The VOW revealing an inside look at the personality cult known only as NXIVM and its leader Keith Raniere, who between the years of 1998 and 2019 has been accused of racketeering activity, including human trafficking, sex offenses, and possession of child pornography. Now with the guilty verdicts above Raniere's head, some members have come out in his defense. Alan Dershowitz is a professor emeritus, Harvard Law School. He's joining us live here. Always good to see you, Professor. We appreciate the time. Talk to me about this. So you've got Nikki Klein, who's a member of NXIVM, known as DOS, promoted as a women's empowerment society, but we're apparently branding their members like cattle, according to this documentary that we've seen. She's coming out in support of Raniere, the ringleader, if you will, in an interview with Newsweek. And that's what you're seeing here on your screen. What have you read about this? What do you make of this defense? Could this change things?
Well, the only issue that I'm involved with is whether the FBI faked a date on a photograph. A key point of evidence against him was a photograph of a young woman that was dated on a date that would make that woman underage. Experts have now come in, former FBI experts, people who really have a lot of credibility, and say that it is very likely that the date on that photograph was manipulated. And a group of lawyers are now seeking to get an evidentiary hearing solely on that issue. The issues of his conduct or misconduct are not issues I'm involved in, except to say that when people are hated and despised, it's much more likely that government agents might bend the truth and stretch the law and change dates. And so all we're seeking is an evidentiary hearing. And nobody wants to see a government changing evidence and manipulating evidence, even against people who they don't like. So we're hoping that the whole truth will come out, and then courts can make the proper judgment.
Yeah, I wanted to bring in Bob Cummings as well, former U.S. attorney, to weigh in. Bud, we were just talking about this. One of the members here of this this cult, if you will, coming out to the defense of the ringleader here, Raniere. And we were talking about this photograph with a date on it. Was it manipulated? Many are wondering, are you going to see a retrial for Raniere? Is that even possible here?
Well, I think if the allegations are true that this evidence was tampered with, I think he absolutely is deserving of a retrial, and his co-defendants should be entitled to reconsider the ones that pled guilty should be able to reconsider their guilty pleas, because they were facing going to trial sitting next to a guy that was accused of having child porn on his computer.
Professor, I'll go back to you on this in more of a broader perspective, a broader stroke of this. How do these cults go under the radar, these groups go under the radar like this?
Well, again, I'm not an expert on cults, and I'm not involved in that aspect of the case. But in general, what are called cults often involve people who are willingly involved in activities, and nobody has an incentive to bring it to the attention of police. It's only when people drop out that they then bring it to the attention of the police. But again, the point I want to make is whether you think he's the devil or an angel, it doesn't matter. What matters is whether our government should ever, no matter what the circumstances are, be allowed to tamper with evidence without accountability and without a hearing. And if there is a new trial, then a lot of evidence can come in, evidence on all sides of the issue, but the jury won't be prejudiced by a photograph that may in fact not be an accurate reflection of the dates and times. So all we're asking for is an opportunity for a fair trial, something that if there was tampering with the evidence, we all agree, should never be permitted in the United States of America.
Obviously, the VOW here on HBO, there are other documentaries that are put out. It does play in the court of public opinion. I got to end it there out of time with you. Professor Alan Dershowitz joining us, Bob Cummings. We appreciate your time as well. Thank you both, gentlemen.
Thank you.